Hello, greetings, this is Gilles Mancier. I wanted to come and say hello, wish you a good day. I'm going to pull a few cards and discuss a few ideas. For now, we're moving towards this full moon in Cancer. So the moon in Cancer is in own sign. Neptune in Pisces is in his own sign. Jupiter is in his own sign. And then there is Mercury that comes to help us understand what we can do to accelerate the process of manifestation and joy and fulfillment. And so it is an important time for every time is important, but we are moving closer to this great portal. I'm going to pull 10 cards and see what. So the situation is happiness. So focus on that. Focus on whatever happiness, whatever that means, whatever we can find it, is to find this happiness from within and to let it grow. What's around that is the triumph, or there will be a triumph. Triumph is the victory of the light. What we see before us is friendship, new friends. Friendship is essential. It's very important. It makes life so much better when we can basically having friends is usually people we share the same values. We have the same, not necessarily the same ideas always, but the same values. In the distant past is the mission. We understand we are here on a mission to serve, to fulfill ourselves, also to fulfill whatever plans we made. Right now it's a recomfort. We're looking forward to find recomfort. There is a technique when you do meditation, is to envision this cloak of light, this white light, this cloak, it's just a cloak, and we put it around ourselves, and we can just close it down, and it's kind of like it helps to make us feel good with this cloak. And so use it, call on this, there is all kinds of tools from the spiritual world we'll have to learn to use. What's coming up in the near future is love, is new higher frequency of love, higher octaves of love. For love is something that we need to unfold, to let go of fear in order to discover love. For fear and love are two very deep things. And so we want to transform our fear into love, so that we can be free and clear of all that. And what we are in this situation is compassion. For compassion starts with ourselves. We have to start to be compassionate with ourselves. What comes to us from the outside world is indulgence. So we do not want to be too indulgent. It is important at this time mostly to let go of certain things, to be disciplined, and to breathe as much as possible. Whenever there is something that shadows, because there is Maya, the illusion, what's been created from the ego. We've had many past lives, so we were completely unconscious. We created all kinds of cause. At the end of each life, we balance it out. But sometimes we say, I don't want to deal with that. And so, but now at the time of the ascension, we need to balance everything out. So there is all kinds of there may be deep fears that are coming, or shadows, or things. It is Maya, it is an illusion, or recognized as an illusion. The best way is to whenever there is something that's challenging, is to take a break and take 3 deep breaths and empty your lungs as much as possible. So it is important to learn to breathe more consciously and to utilize that to bring back the center before in order to move into something to regain our clarity, lucidity, because some certain things are creating the energy that are not unpleasant sometimes in the world, and so we want to find our center to respond and deal with that with lucidity, not to respond out of anger or frustration or anything. What we see in our emotion is light, so it's about neutrality. Light is neither masculine nor feminine. It is neither positive nor negative. It is the combination of both. Light is information. Light is wisdom, and what will come as the outcome is the revelation. There will be new revelation are happening every day. Pay attention to your dream when you do your meditation or prayer, or pay attention to what comes to you. It's actually coming to you from your higher self. I wanted to say that also that sometimes we see chemtrails in the sky. Well, here it's like now it's a lot better. They stopped doing it, but for many years they were like invisible planes that were like creating all those chemtrails. But as you recognize yourself as a divine being, a creator, you say, I do not want to live with that, I do not want to breathe that. So you authorize the galactic to clean it up. They're gonna do it anyway, but if nobody asks, they're gonna say, well, that's what they want. They want this. So many things. You just say, I want it to be clean. And Ashtar, a friend, the Ashtar command, Ashtar has told us a technique. When you see a plane that's like you can put your hands like this and you follow from the plane all the way to the ends, and so sending divine light to all this, so it is transmuted and it doesn't fall into the ground and pollutes the fruits, the trees, and understanding the earth is a real person. If everything we have, it is made of the light of the sun and the matter of the earth. She's the one who has nourished everything that we have. And she receives us within this field of love, and then humans are not conscious, and it is because of the lack of harmony, the lack of understanding with the planet, that there is all the natural catastrophe. There is all the insects that are poisonous, all the trees that are if humans would start respecting, and so very shortly all kinds of things would disappear, and the trees will go straight, they will be happy. There is all kinds of things that we need to become conscious that the earth is a real person and respect that, and so to do whatever we can. It's not to assist the planet, to send light and love into every situation, the violet fire into the river, to do whatever feels right. Of course, it is not about repeating the same cycle, for we have to grow, and through the process, for the earth is the field. It's like a theater, where we are actors within this field of love. Whatever is the highest good is what feels good. What feels good is what is the highest good. Of course, if say, drinking whiskey makes me feel good, that's not the feel good I'm talking about. I'm talking about the energy of feeling good. I'm not criticizing whatever, but understanding that there is because the frequency is rising, the chaos is also rising, because there are many people that do not even want to know about this, and so the chaos will continue, the black and white nature, until people realize that they are creating this, and do not be fooled by all those conflicts of the other world. Just transmute it, save yourself, enlighten yourself, try to take care of yourself. And from there, we'll be able to assist when we come to the situation. And if we have really been able to take care of ourselves, then we are it's a lot easier to assist others in finding resolution within their own process. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm going to pull a few cards from the Akash to see what the highest wisdom for us today is, to be free. It's about imprisonment and slavery. We want to be free from all kinds of tyranny. We want to let go of all this past, not to be criticizing of the program, but to free ourselves from that. The door has always been open. It is just a matter that we have allowed ourselves to be conditioned in something less than love and light and freedom. What we need to understand is biblical, to align with God, to Allah, to Yahweh, to the higher force of the universe. For me, the Bible and the Quran is the same revelation of the same God. It's just different time, different space, different. What we need to do is Greco-Roman. We need to be empowered. We need to connect to all those forces. I'm going to discuss a bit this painting behind me. And the outcome is anger and alimentation and anger. It's about understanding the craving, the desire, the craving, and to become a bit to master that, to master this idea of not being dependent on our craving. True desires is okay when we have a true desire to be happy, to be in peace, to live a simple life, to be creative. Those are true desires. But there are certain desires that are not true desires, they are craving, and those we need to overcome. It's like a wave, it's like, and then let it pass. Those thoughts will subside. Once we understand this freedom, we will find the wish. We came here with certain wish. We made some wish. We asked the universe for certain things, and so the wish will be fulfilled. And once we let go of this anger and those craving from the desire, we find Egypt, the power of eternal life. For it beyond the desires of the sense are trapped. They are trapping us. That's why the Allah recommends to do the Ramadan, to master those senses, to purify, to cleanse the physical body. For it is very important to do as much as possible to clean up the physical body in order to find the solutions, because the solution will come. Of course, it's uncomfortable maybe, but it's necessary. Sometimes you have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, and follow your own heart. See whatever is called from within you. It's not what I'm called to do is not necessarily what everybody else is called to do. I'm just offering ideas so that still are very much aligned with this path of ascension. Well, I'm going to finish with I'm going to try to sing a song. I didn't really do too well in my first video. It's the first time I sang it, but I'm going to try to sing it again anyway. So this painting, I'm going to comment it briefly. Is a painting on astrology. It's my own personal chart, and it means that I located 140 different celestial body. So that means, in a sense, when we look at the 10 major aspects of astrology, we have holes, we have weakness. There are certain places where we have strengths, and the places we don't have planets, we have weakness. But there are many small planets that will give us strengths once we discover them. And so we all have all those planets in all the constellations are filled with power and energy. So I'm going to start here very briefly. It's like I start with my first house. The first house is where the ascendant is. My ascendant is a 0 degree Pisces, and here I have the Sun, I have Mercury, I have Mars, and I have Chiron that is in direct conjunction. So Chiron is the most important, the wounded healer, the most important planet in my chart. And here I have Pandora, Urania, the muse of astronomy, Orpheus, the great musician, Osiris, the counterpart of Isis, Ibris, which is the planet of excess, Amalthea, which is the great Capricorn, the goat, the mother nourished Zeus when he was young. Here is Semele, the mother of Dionysos. So it's like she burned because the whole story. I will go back to those mythological stories, although they're known. And here in Pisces, finally, I have the great goddess Metis, the mother of Athena. So it is a very planet of wisdom, and the symbol is 3 lines means light, and then above an eye. So it's like the light above the eye, and so it is a very, very powerful planet. I thought there is another Metis as the moon of Jupiter, but it's a different planet. Here in my second house in Aries, I have Venus, Eunomia, Isis, and Minerva, which is so Venus is Aphrodite, Eunomia is the divine order, Isis is the great mother, Minerva is Athena, Eros is the god of sexuality, a very big planet. It's just almost as big as Mars. I'm very surprised it didn't come into the astro chart, and it's very close also not to. And here is Ophelia, the fairy queen, Industria, Cupido was an associate of Venus, which is good. They're conjuncting here. Musa, it's all the muse. Here it's near Jupiter, so it's good. Jupiter likes the muse. You always love them. It's the father of the muse. He's the father of the muses. Artemis also is the father of Artemis also, and the sister of Apollon. Atropos. She's one of the Moires, the one that is the Moire. And then there is Jupiter, Interamnia, which is a planet of transition, Heracles, which is a power of strength, Sphinx, Olympia, which is a planet that englobes all of the gods of mythology in one little planet. Is the Olympia. Daphne, the beloved of Apollon, that turns into a tree. Sedna, which is a oceanic goddess. Here there is Admetos, who was a great healer. Satan, who was the son of the sun that was burning everything where he went. So he was sent into the Tartar, into the hell. Chaos, which is the original planets. Those planets are very, very far away, but they're very powerful. They're outside of the trans-Neptunian planets. They're very powerful. We'll come to realize their impact in the future. Eris, the goddess of discord. And Typhoon, the anti-Zeus. I had to invent some of the symbols; they didn't exist. So and here is Ornamenta in Taurus, the most beautiful planet. Hephaestus, the god of the forge, the scientist, the engineer. Diana, the goddess of, she's very much a defender of nature. She's the goddess of hunt, but she's mainly a defender of the natural world. Lacéchis was another moire. There is Cloto that pulls the string of destiny. There is Lacéchis that saw the destiny, and then there is Atropos that cuts the destiny, cuts the strings of destiny for men and for gods. Anyways, those they were like Tantalus, who's the insatiability. For sometimes the mythological story tells us something of what the planet is, but not always. Sometimes there is little subtle differences. Here's the nymph. Nymph are all the nymph, the beautiful nymph, the young goddesses. Nemesis. Here there is Hygiea. Nemesis is she was the fountain. Hygiea is about prevention, about preventing disease. Hygiea. She's the daughter of Asclepius, the god of medicine. Arachne, that creates the webs, was created tapestries. Moira is a planet that regroup all three moires. Hades, that's another planet for Pluto. Proserpina was another planet for Persephone. Harmonia, which is not about harmony actually. Harmonia she had a very difficult life. Fortuna is good to have in Taurus. Fortuna is planet of fortune. We want to call on her as much as possible. Tia is called Tea, but I relate it to the oceanic goddess Tia. Requiem is the planet of pose. Hector is the planet of it's about the glorious return of the hero. And Achille. And it was kind of problematic for me at first to realize that Achille and Hector was together here, because Achille killed Hector in the book of Homer. But here Achille is more about the vulnerability. Circe is the one that poisoned Ulysses. Lucia, as I used it for symbol of light. Aurora, that's the daughter of Hyperion, of the sun and the moon. She's the one that brings about the light. Niobe, Nessus was a strange planet, very difficult planet to deal with. Kronos, another planet for Saturn. Eurydice was Eurydice, the wife of Orpheus. Here in Cancer, I have Pythia. Pythia is the planet that reveals things, is the Pity. Logos is what moves things from within. All the sacred flames are moved from the Logos. Absolute is a connection point to something that is far beyond, because something that's absolute has no beginning, no end, and cannot exist in time or space. So therefore it is kind of changed. So there is a point, it's a strange planet, but welcome to discover it. I don't know all those planets all too well. Some of them I know better than others. Fraternitas is a new planet I added. Veronica. Volcanus is another planet for Hephaestus. Then in Leo I have Dionysos, who's another planet for Bacchus. Chloris, she was a nymph. Hecate, she was a goddess, but she was a bit tumultuous. Mekemeke is the god of the Easter Island. It's connected to Arcturus. It looks like a horse. Euronime, she's the mother of the Graces. Philosophia, I put a cross inside the losange. Philosophia here in Leo. Quewa, he has a moon named Wewot. Then Ixion, it's like to be a bit too confident, and planet that was a bit from the mythological story. Estia is another planet for Vesta, and here Themis is another planet, is the goddess of justice, that's here in Libra. Sophia is is a planet for wisdom. Sappho was the priestess from the island of Lesbos. Apollo is the god of light. It's a planet that's part of the asteroid belt, and there is another trans-Neptunian planet called Apollon. And here I have them almost in conjunction, so it is good. It reinforces my connection to Apollon, for it is the god of the arts, also a god of light, and so I'm working with him. Omea is Omea, Namaka, and Amaka. It's really a planet with two moons that connected to the islands of Hawaii. Davida is a very fast-moving planet. Aphrodite is another planet for Venus. Odysseus is the name of Ulysses. Odysseus in Greek, Ulysses in Latin. It is a planet of adventure. And here I have those two major planets, which are Uranus and Pluto, that are the beginning and the end, so to think, that Pluto holding the root and Uranus holding the crown, so they're conjuncting. They're both retrograde. in Virgo. And then I have Zeus and Apollon here on the trans-Neptunian planet. Those planets are very important for me. I'm reconnecting. Of course, Jupiter is very powerful, but Zeus controls this whole thing from this little planet. It's just, it's got more distance from, it's very subtle with our relationship to the cosmos, for we are connected, we are one with everything. So it is a matter of understanding this world of energy and how we relate to it. In Libra, I have this planet, beautiful planet, Amor. For we all have those planets, they're all happening right now, they're all there, and they're all influencing us on some sort of level, even if we don't know the placement in our chart. Those planets are working for us. Sometimes they're working for us, sometimes they're working against us, but in medicine we want to get the flow going in one direction and to let go of all the opposition. So this Amor is about a heart that's been cut in half, that's been reunited. Atlantis, in memory of the great civilization of Atlantis. Sisyphus is the one who pushed the rock on top of a hill, and then he goes back down, and he goes back to push the rock, and it's about letting go of repetitive cycle. Prudencia, Callisto, Poseidon, who's another planet for Neptune, which is not too far there from Neptune. M87 is a great, huge galactic cluster that we'll discover in the future that's connected to, essentially it's connected to the Virgo, but it has moved in my chart, it was part of the... in Scorpio, I have two very, very important aspects, is Neptune and the Moon. A very difficult Moon in Scorpio, very difficult. I don't recommend it. If you have it, you deal with it. We have to deal with astrology as it is, but it's a very delicate placement for the Moon. So I also have Oceania, which is the planet that through the great ocean. The ocean is all the Oceanid. They were already about 40,000 years ago. They were the wars between the Titans and the Pleiad and the Olympians, and the Oceanid were they didn't partake in this war. Eventually, Zeus became the master controller of the program. That they withdrew, and Oceania is a planet that symbolizes the ocean. Memoria is another planet for Mnemosyne. It's about the memory. Karma is another planet. Yeah. So I have a lot of planets to deal with, and in this Scorpio is the depths, and it's very difficult. So that's why I have many struggle in my life. I hope to let go of this struggle. I'm ready to move into a paradise state of being, a more integrated, subtle state of being. This is the only focus I have right now is to focus on that and let go of everything else. Here we have Iris. Iris is the messenger of Zeus. Hidalgo is a centaur. Cloto is the young moir. Medusa was the ones that she had beautiful hair, but she confronted Athena and said, "Well, my hair is more beautiful than yours," and poof, it was like snakes. It's like, well, because some beings they were kind of fools in this time, because there was some power. Some of them were more powerful than others, but sometimes they were like some mortals that were trying to defy those higher beings, and so it's like. That's what created all those stories. Euphrosyne is one of the grace, and she's about joy. It's about the pure joy, the joy. So it's a very important planet, Euphrosyne. Pax is the memory. Is the only thing that's left from this planet called Maldek that was destroyed from the galactic war. That will be reassembled later on. A planet of giants and beautiful planets. Siva and Siwa are connected to the transition. They're very divine planet that connected to the unification of religion. Hera, the goddess of she's the goddess of family, home, which is also connected to Juno. So same planet. And then there is Ceres here. That's I'm going to finish here. Yeah, and so we move into Sagittarius. So in Sagittarius, I have a lot of goddesses there as well. Angelica, which is a planet of angels, a very angelic planet. So some planet even can be really dark. There is, in our solar system, is not settled in light and life. So there is still dark archetypes that are floating around, dark extraterrestrial that have bases, but there is a lot of light, and it's becoming very clean and clear. There is all the galactics have. There is more and more work that is being done to eventually make this ascension of the whole solar system possible. There's the goddess Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena, Pallas was the daughter of Triton, and Athena was the daughter of Zeus and Metis, and they were playing one day, and then they were practicing sword play, and Zeus was afraid that Pallas would hurt Athena, and he intervened in the play, and Athena killed Pallas, and so she was so sad because she loved her so much, and so she always thought that she would use the name Pallas before her name. Of course, they were gods or immortals, but they were living in a plain field. Once they were gone from that plain field, they were gone, and so they still existed. We were all eternal, immortal beings. Whether whatever our beliefs are, we'll come to realize that. So the goddess Juno, Ambroisie and Hebe. Ambroisie and Hebe is the goddess that makes the nectar and the ambroisie. So it's about the nectar, that the fruits, the eternal life, the fruits of eternal life. We'll discover that as well. Maria, which is a Christic planet, very important planet, beloved Mary. Terpsichore, she's the muse of the dance. There is Mnemosyne. Mnemosyne she was also a wife of Zeus. She was the mother of the muses, the 9 muses. She's the mother of the muses. And here there is Bamberga. Bamberga is the observer. He was an astronomer that has this planet. And there's here on Sagittarius there is the galactic center and the grand attractor. In essence, I don't believe those things have moved too much from the they might have moved but not all that much. They don't move, everything follows the grand attractor. Then in Capricorn, I have my south node in Capricorn for my north node in Cancer. Here I have Victoria, the planet of victory. Shiva, the other planet for Shiva. Psyche was a nymph who was I think was Cupido, who fell in love with her. There's a lot of story. Child is the inner child. It's very important to connect to our inner child, to remember when we were children what was those things that make us feel so good, and then to utilize some of that, to give time to let our inner child express itself, himself, herself. Thetis, she's the mother of Achilles. She was the one that was married to Pele, and it was during her wedding that Eris came in with the apple of discord. So she's a goddess I've been in touch with, connected to. Bacchus is a god of wine, the god of I have some stronger connection to some entities than others. It is just on how what is the coherence in vibration in relationship to certain things, and so because we all connected to the whole program of God, it's like but there is certain affiliation and certain plan and certain energies that comes into our life, our consciousness. It's not material, it is conscious. So here there is Flora, the planets that symbolize all the florism, the flowers. Asclepius, here the planet is the god of medicine. House is the home, the house. Salacia, the goddess of the moon. Leto, the mother of Artemis and Apollon. Toro, Io, Io is a priestess from the temple of Hera. I think she had an affair with Zeus, Toro, which was the Minotaur. It's a very brutal force. And Orcus up there also is a little bit darker. There is like 3 dark archetypes here. Lilith as well, which is like the woman that's a non-submissive woman. So she's not a really, she can be tumultuous. And then finally in the 12th house, I have Icarus, which is the ones that we don't want to fly too far, so that he who, in order to escape the Minotaur from Menos, his father created him some wings to fly, but he was so ambitious, he wanted to fly to the sun, and his wing burned. Here's Panacea, the goddess that knows all the plants, that knows the miraculous ways to heal with plants. For the Mother Earth has created all the plants. Whenever there is some new illness that is created artificially in some laboratory, the planet automatically creates a new plant somewhere that heals that problem. And so when we'll have the collective will to shift from drugging, medicalizing to returning to health, we're going to discover all kinds of new avenue, and we'll solve a lot of problems in health problem once we let go of the dependency of pharmaceutical. Well, there is some good in pharmaceutical, but I would definitely avoid to make it last resort, so not to get used to pharmaceutical product. Then there's this planet Light, Lumière, pardon. Lumière is I put a camera because it's like, for me it was, I used it for the connection to the brother Lumière who invented cinema. Europa, which was she was a beautiful goddess, a nymph that was Zeus wanted to seduce her. He transformed himself into a white bull with golden horn. It was so beautiful. She climbed eventually on him and she kidnapped him. So hopefully we'll be able to retrieve this Europe, this Europe that's been kidnapped. The Europe has been kidnapped. We're going to be able to retrieve her. It's kind of symbolic, but eventually there are some good things about Europe, but there's many things that needs to be done in order to align it into what it so it becomes more functional. Astraea is a planet that is the goddess of purity. It's the Virgo. And then there is another planet called Eternitas. I use the rank as a symbol. Buddha is the planet of the Buddha. Then there is another planet for the purity is Vesta also. Is another planet of purity. And then there is Prudencia. Here I have Saturn, and then there is Pholus, who's a centaur, but Pacific centaur. There is only two Pacific centaurs, which is Chiron and Pholus. The other ones are very tumultuous. And then Hopi, the planets of the American Indian. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm going to try to sing this song. I didn't rehearse it, so I'm gonna venture into it anyway. And probably will forgive me if I don't ace it, but let's see what I can do. It's a song by America. It goes like this. On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all of life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The first thing I met was a fly with a buzz and the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It feels good to be out of the rain. In the desert you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at the riverbed. The story it told of a river that flowed made me sad to think he was dead. You see, I've been through a desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. After 9 days I left the horse run free, 'cause the desert had turned to the sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The ocean is a desert that with a life underground, and the perfect disguise all above. And under the city lies a heart made of ground, but the human will give no love. You see, I've been through a desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. Well, thank you very much for sticking till the end. I hope you are getting you're preparing yourself for this. We're really getting ready for something very very transformative with these coming days. the solstice will be followed by a full moon, which will be followed by Christmas, and this will be very, very powerful. So let us be as clear as possible, and let us always pray for miracle, pray for advancement, and rely on our own inner power to be in alignment with that which we have asked for. I hope this message was interesting for you. I thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.